And hello everyone, welcome to the Patreon Hangout. This is a special edition where everyone is invited. Though interestingly, I don't know what Patreon is doing with its notifications. There are two comments from Pink Mouse on the Patreon. If I switch over here, yeah, on the Patreon thread, there are a bunch of people watching live, which is nice. But yeah, either way, we're gonna answer some questions today. We're gonna do the regular Patreon or supporter hangout. Yeah, maybe I should do a separate one for the YouTube supporters as well because I didn't invite those. Whoops, sorry about that. Yeah, anyways, what's up? What's going on? Quick update from me from what's happening. This is the newest project that I've been working on and that I've just shot, and as you can see, there's a big blob on here. The PEI is kind of torn up and damaged. I tried to damage this printer just by using G-code that I got from prushaprinters.org that I uploaded myself. So I wanted to see how much you could upload to prushaprinters.org, to Prusha's new sharing site, and yeah, whether it does actually filter malicious G-code beforehand. And it does some things. It does just plainly block a lot of G-codes that may be harmful, but it doesn't do much more than that. So it blocks the M500, it blocks like save to EEPROM, that's the big one, but yet it still allows you to extrude much more than what is good for the printer. And like, I'm going to show that to you again, like right there. There is a massive blob right there. So yeah, it doesn't do anything smart about filtering the G-code. It lets you drive it into the heated bed at full temperature. All that is still enabled. I just shot that. It should be out within the next 1, 2, 3 days. What else was going on? Not last week, but the week before last, late May, last week of May, I was in the Czech Republic. My 1 week of vacation that I get per year out mountain biking was fantastic. If you ever want to go mountain biking somewhere. So we were at the Big Lake, southwest of the Czech Republic, in the Bohemian Forest, basically. Excellent region to go biking, and we also took a few trips to Austria. Great region. The other thing that's going on right now, which is keeping me busy, is we spontaneously decided to insulate half of the house. We were originally just going to replace the wooden cladding with some stucco, and discovered that we're not legally allowed to do that. So now, we have to put insulation up, which is fantastic and a whole lot of work and a whole lot of stuff to read up about. But it's fun, but it's exhausting and it takes up a lot of time. So yeah, video output. This stuff has to get finished right now. So video output. I'm doing my best. I can. I'm physically working the whole day, and then the evenings I spend on YouTube and video stuff. Once that's done, it's gonna get better. All right, let's answer some questions. Pink Mouse is asking about the big TreeTech SKR V1.3 32-bit board. So just bought one on the impulse to try out, and it seems pretty well made. Is this the board to finally bring 32-bit to the masses? And I've actually looked this up. Actually, let's look at this one first. So what is this? Just a quick heads up here. So this is 1999. This is a 20 euro board. Doesn't include drivers. Doesn't include drivers at all. But it, yeah, so 20 euros for the old one, and then 26 euros for the V3.1. Now, I just had this open because I wanted to show you the basics, what it does. It did have an image of the backside somewhere. There we go. Yeah. So what is this? This is a pretty basic, I guess, Rambo. Does the Rambo have the drivers on board? Rads? I don't know. What exactly is it? It's equivalent to. So it has an NXP LPC 17 something 32-bit processor on here. It has 5 socketed drivers. It has 3 MOSFETs, so that is 2 hot ends, 1 fan, I guess, or something. And only one fan though. And one large, physically larger one, I guess for the heated bed, though physically larger stuff doesn't necessarily mean that it can actually carry more current. Nope, there we go. End stops, expansion headers, aux header, TFT. So I'm thinking that's probably something like the Do-It LCD. LCD, SD, SPI, so for something more traditional like the graphical or the text-based LCDs that you'd find on regular boards. Yeah, so that's the old one. Has all that stuff, a few thermistor inputs. Let's look at the new one because I think that one is more relevant. And actually go with the labeling here. You know, all your regular stuff. It does have the extra pins for the Trinamic drivers, which is nice to see. It also has UART. So this is probably going to be hard to read, but XUART, YUART, ZUART for something like the TMC 2208, which are, I believe, yeah, serial-based drivers. So you can just jumper those in with the jumper wire. Should be super simple to do. And yeah, it does look pretty good. It does look pretty good. Oh, did they? No. CNC fan. Okay, so that's the cooling fan. A few things that I like is, first of all, mini automotive blade fuses, 20 and 10 amp. That's great. I like the socketed drivers, and I like the fact that they're breaking out step direction, enable, and the ground. The ground's not necessary really, but they're breaking out these as well if you kind of want to wiring something else like a bigger external drivers. That's great. Yeah, they're calling this transflash, but whatever. They're already giving you the distances for where the USB port is and all. So that's pretty nice. So you can make enclosures and design those pretty easily. One thing I wanted to show you on this one, which is why I was looking for the backside, they do seem to, you know, do thermal design somewhat, I don't want to say properly, but decently. So you can actually smack a big old heatsink on the bottom, which is where these MOSFETs are actually intended to be cooled from, because this plastic packaging doesn't really allow any thermal conductivity to happen, or it doesn't allow any heat through. So the way these sort of MOSFETs are intended to be cooled is actually from the back, so from back here. And there are plenty of vias here that are going to conduct the heat to the back, so that's great. And there's like a semi-large area that you can mount a heatsink to. I just would like to see like a screw hole or something, but since this is going to get screwed down anyways, it should be fine. I mean, otherwise, yeah, this is actually looking pretty decent. So I did look at what, you know, I just Googled this board. A few forum posts came up. So the info is it is running on Marlin 2.0, which is also confirmed in the Amazon ad right there. It does run Marlin 2.0. It does apparently also run SmoothieWare, because I think the processor is fairly similar to the one that the Smoothie board uses, if not the exact same one. And yeah, so that gives you a bit of a choice between Marlin and SmoothieWare. It's great. There were some comments that programming wasn't, like, there were some issues with programming, but that might just be because it's a new platform. Because, you know, with a 32-bit platform, we've got all the tools already. With a 32-bit one, it's just a different approach, and the tools just kind of need to grow into what the possibilities of the platform are, and just need to grow to be a bit more usable. Like, we have Arduino that we can program this with, which is like the world's easiest programming environment. But yeah, I think that, if anything, that's really going to get figured out, because 32-bit is the future. And again, if we look at the price here, this is 26 euros. That's incredible. So that includes the 32-bit processor. That includes, you know, the power electronics for, you know, MOSFETs and all. And of course, you do need to add the drivers to that. But, you know, even if the MOSFETs aren't that great, that's still a fantastic price. That is not much more expensive than what you pay for ramps and an Arduino Mega. So yeah, especially this one is shipping from, yeah, this is even shipped by Amazon, so you can buy it on Prime. So shipped from Germany, so no imports tax or anything. So that, I don't think you can go much wrong with this. You can go that wrong with this board. So yeah, the SKR V3.1. So this one is made by BQ. This is like the, I don't know why these importers always like label their products the same. Like the Ender 3 is always called like the Sane Smart Ender 3 or something. Pop print. This is BQ. BIQ. So the guys actually says on the original board on the back. Yeah. So BQ dot equipment, Big Tree Tech. Yeah, BQ originally known for their silicone heaters. I think that's where they first came up with it. I think for some cloned hotends or something. So yeah, Chinese manufacturer, but you know that they're getting better. Yeah, and that's pretty much all the questions for today. I don't know what was happening with patrons or Patreon and the notifications or emails. I don't know if this didn't get sent out, but like, thanks Pink Mouse for your comment and for your input. Volker Weger, I'm seeing in chat. Guys, this is like, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask right now, go ahead. Because otherwise that's going to be it for today. Yeah, but I guess, yeah, wrapping up thoughts on the Big Tree Tech SKR V3.1 32-bit board. I don't know. Yeah, by the way, also, there's your 40mm in Noctua fan, apparently top seller in 3D printing on Amazon. You know, it might be a bit harder to program than an 8-bit Arduino-based board. It might be a bit, you know, harder to get the firmware on there, but yeah, for 26 bucks, don't think you can go much wrong. Hardware-wise, like I'd actually have to test what MOSFETs these are. I can't actually read what type this is. I guess the large one I can read, a WSK 220N04. I guess we can Google that at some point, but these shouldn't be too bad. Spike got the notification, so I don't know what the heck is going on there. And Volker as well. Weird. Volker, we got a question from you. Good one. One question: is it possible to extrude or print too slow? Too slow? Yes. You can always go too slow. I mean, if you look at the extremes, it's always what I like to do is like, what would happen if you like literally print at a standstill? Like your print's never going to finish, obviously. But also, what is happening when you're just not moving is your plastic is going to ooze out of your hot, and you're not going to get much control over your material flow. And in fact, I think I had seen this on something like the Ultimaker with like super thin layers, where the extruder really isn't doing much in controlling the filament flow. It's just like slowly oozing out, and depending how fast the extruder is feeding filament back in, that's like, it's more of a drip instead of a push, as we see with these typical printers. So that can be an issue. If you're printing too slow and you don't have adequate cooling with a fan or something, you're also going to see melty parts, because you're just radiating heat into your print, especially if you have if you don't have a large print. That's always something that you have to keep in mind. If your printer is moving around and you're not moving fast enough away from that one spot, you're basically going to get the same if you're printing like a single chess piece where the hot end is just not moving around much. So yeah, specifically, Folger is asking about some issues on his Delta where he got periods of massive under-extrusion followed by huge blobs of molten plastic. Raising the printing speed solved the issue. So what Folger might be seeing here is possibly blobs, possibly moisture in the filament. So if you've ever had wet filament that you print, you kind of get those crackles and pops. And snaps. And basically what I'm thinking happens there is because typically if you feed filament fast enough and it kind of pushes it through the hot end, if you get one of those moisture bubbles that kind of forms, then it's just going to get compressed. Gases get compressed, and it just pushes it through fast enough. But if there's not enough flow happening, that bubble is going to push the filament out, and after that the hot end is essentially going to be empty. So that might be something in combination with slow printing. Thermal instabilities, as Volker is suggesting, Not sure. Running into thermal instabilities with the hot, and once the heater cartridge kicks in, the PLA starts flowing too fast. The thing is, PLA is not that sensitive to temperature. Like, it's still going to be in the same ballpark, plus minus 20 degrees. So you're not going to see a huge difference if you print at 200 or 220 or 240 degrees. It's not going to be that different in running this. And the heater cartridge is not going to, like, if your PID loop is tuned in well-ish or okay-ish and you're not seeing huge temperature fluctuations, then I don't think there's going to be so much temperature that you're actually evacuating the hot and getting all the filament to flow out. So again, I'm thinking it's moisture related and it's actually like moisture bubbles forming. So if you have filament that's out in the open, or that you have any reason to think that it's been contaminated with moisture, that it's been sucking up ambient moisture, just pop it in the oven below its, oh, this is actually, no, it's regular stuff. Just below its glass transition temperature somewhere. So PLA 50, 60 degrees in a convection oven for an hour or two. PETG can go a bit hotter, 70, 80 degrees, and it's, 2 or 3 hours, it is going to cool down. I do it in my regular oven. I've got a pyrolysis oven, so I run that every now and then, so it just gets nuked out. But yeah, if your wife's not happy with that, you may want to get a separate oven. There's nothing, in PLA and PETG, there's nothing really toxic in there, so I wouldn't worry about it in my oven. Though this is not legal advice, and if you get sick from baking PLA, then it's not my problem. Yeah, printing too slow, printing too fast, obviously, is going to be very obvious too. But yeah, you'd be surprised if you have a well-tuned setup, or like the Ultimaker, I guess, and dry filament, how little material flow is actually still giving you results that look great. Because essentially all the Ultimaker prints that back when Ultimaker prints were still like the best stuff, with the Ultimaker 1 and 2, I guess, where people were just printing at 0.05, 50 micron layers. So yeah, back then you look at how much filament is going and you could barely see the extruder move. And those prints looked fabulous. Those prints looked absolutely fantastic, even though there was not really a controlled filament flow. Yeah, forgot. So the silica gel, if you have, it's something that Stefan from CNC Kitchen has actually been talking about a lot recently, is even if you have fresh filament that is sealed in a vacuum bag, and we've talked about this on the Meltzone podcast too, even if it's like factory sealed in a clear vacuum bag and there's a pack of silica gel in there, it might not be perfectly dry. Like that little silica gel isn't absorbing that much. And also the film they use is mostly to keep dust out, because thin PE films let quite a significant amount of moisture through, especially if it's vacuum packed. The theory is that because there's a vacuum, there's a pressure difference, a literal pressure difference. The moisture and stuff is actually getting sucked into the packaging, into the vacuum in there, and then ends up contaminating the filament. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but yeah, the takeaway is even fresh filament deserves a drying for best performance. Cool. And anything else? I'm kind of at a loss here. What else can I talk about? Not sure. Yeah, anything. Anyways, this video about the broken or trying to break PrusaPrinters.org, this is going to go up hopefully tomorrow. Yeah, well, I think definitely tomorrow. I don't think I need to send Prusa a copy before I put anything live, because it's not, I mean, they know what they're getting into if they're letting people publish their own G-codes. And what I'm doing isn't anything new. It's not like I'm showing a totally new exploit or something, if you use this character string in your G-code, then the firmware is going to break. No, it's literally just telling the printer, okay, please now go below the bed surface and scratch your bed. Like, you should be able to see that coming, right? All right. But yeah, I guess that is going to be it for today. A short one this time because Patreon messed up. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, thank you for joining in. Thank you for being supporters on Patreon. And I will see you all in the next one, the next Hangout, next month, or on YouTube, or if I get the time, on a live stream on the channel. All right, thank you all for joining in, and goodbye.